Yeah, it's tough. Let's talk about cost of living. Big worries, of course, are fresh food, groceries, utility bills in particular, and the cost of buying a home. We saw today unemployment edge up slightly, which may be a good thing if you've got a job, because that might mean the Reserve Bank won't whack interest rates up again. Just from a personal point of view, Ollie, with a young family, how tough is it when you go through the supermarket and then you get home and the electricity bill's in the letterbox? Cost of living just keeps going up and up and up. I can't imagine how people on minimum wages are actually surviving.
Yeah, and you might get that note on the way home, and your wife says, as it does occasionally, can you pick up some chicken breast or a couple of apples or whatnot? And you think, yeah, that's fine. And you just notice, because you tap and go everything, all of a sudden you're paying $40 or $50 or $60 for four things that you used to think cost $30 or $40. So it's all those little incremental issues that add up. I think what's also interesting today, Steve's out of that KPMG report that we have failed to deliver 27,000 homes that we thought were going to be constructed, and the housing outlook is obviously for such we won't meet those targets over the next 2 years. So you can have all these conversations about cost of living, and they're so important, and Sky News viewers this evening are really feeling the pinch, but they've got to put migration into this conversation as well, Steve. I know nobody wants to tackle it, and people tried to howl down Peter Dutton, his budget reply speech last Thursday night for it, but where are people going to live? Because that is just going to add more and more pressure to people currently trying to buy a home, people paying their rents. Rents are going to continue to skyrocket for the next 2 years. There's no end in sight. So that cost of living crisis is only going to get worse.
We're all AFL fans. I'll get on to the AFL deciding today to back the yes vote, as has the NRL and rugby as well. But Caleb, I can't let you sit there in that magnificent jacket without bringing in a royal story. Prince Harry and Meghan, and I saw Peter Credlin and Rita talking about this, say they were in a catastrophic car chase through Manhattan, and they feared for their lives. New York City police have come out and said, well, there was no accident, there was no drama. These drama queens, have they just made this up, do you think?
Oh, please. And look, I understand that Harry has some history, obviously, when it comes to cars being chased by paparazzi, so he may be a little bit touchy about this subject. But when you listen to the Mayor of New York, you listen to the police, you listen to the cabbie who drove them once they got out of the other car, all saying, look, none of this adds up. You have to ask the question, why are they trying to make a mountain out of a molehill? And we know from some of the images that have been released by the paparazzi that Harry was filming all of this. Look, you just have to assume that this is once again part of their media empire that they're building up, of course, because they want their privacy. They don't want us to know what's going on in their lives. But if we can make $1 out of it, we will do so. I think their ultimate problem is that someone else is trying to make $1 out of them rather than them making $1 out of the royal family.
Ollie, what do you make of the AFL joining in and with all the other football codes and backing the yes vote in the referendum? You've got obviously two teams there in Perth, the Dockers and the Eagles. Do the supporters of either of those teams really care what the AFL thinks about the vote in the referendum?
Probably not at the moment. I mean, for Eagles fans, they just want to get off the bottom of the ladder, and they're hoping that they won't end up with the spoon after this weekend. And for Dockers fans, I mean, they have changed the name of the club this week. They're referred to as Walyalup all week here in Western Australia, but they found a bit of form as well, and they're hoping they can cement a spot in the 8, although Dockers fans are unhappy today, Steve, because they haven't been given any Thursday night or Friday night games after round 16, and they deserve it. So Dockers fans are furious in the West today. I'm not surprised, though, the AFL has backed in the Voice, because it is Sir Doug Nicholls' round. It's going to be what is in vogue this year, of course, from sporting codes. As you said, Rugby League went a couple of weeks ago now, and I think it's going to become a bit of a shopping list now, isn't it? Which companies or sporting codes or clubs or organisations have backed the Voice to Parliament, which have not backed the yes vote. So I think it's going to be something that is in vogue, and for people who might work for those organisations or be players who are in the no camp, are they going to be provide safer spaces? Are they going to be allowed to have a different point of view to that? I think it is interesting. I know talkback listeners in Perth, Steve, just want them to play footy and stay out of politics.
Yeah, and what annoys me about it overshadows the Indigenous round. That's it for us, boys. But Caleb, I can't let you go without telling you my mother wants me to say that she loves your spot on 5AA radio in Adelaide and thinks you're absolutely fantastic, mate. So
I'm
won
glad
my
she listens.
88-year-old mother over.
I'm really glad she listens, and may I say on the topic of AFL, go the Crows this weekend against the Bulldogs in Ballarat. We're coming to get you.
No, you can't say that. Thank you. That's Caleb Bond and Ollie in Perth. They're